Today on Belmont Park Live, Awesome Roar looked home free in her return to the turf, but after getting nailed late, will an equipment change help her seal the deal? Former champion of multiple Grade 1 winner, New Money Honey, makes her 4-year-old return to the races in today's 8th. Will the former Breeders' Cup winner remain perfect at Belmont? And Wesley Ward strikes again. His latest success overseas puts him in double digits at the Royal Meet. A full recap of the premier day from Royal Ascot. All that and much more coming up on this Thursday edition of Belmont Park Live here on MSG Plus. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Beautiful Thursday afternoon. Great to have you with us as we get set for the starts of the late pick 4 sequence coming up here at Belmont Park. Decent crowd on hand here for a good day of racing where we have a champion making her return, Greg Wolf. Former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, New York Racing Association handicapper, New Money Honey. We shall see. Will she be ready to fire off the bench? Obviously, this race not the target. She has much bigger things in mind. Is she vulnerable here?
Well, I mean, you can say she's vulnerable because she's coming back off a long layoff, but there's no doubt who the class of the field is. Listen, she's got $1.3 million in the bank, Andy, for a reason.
Well, she's a very good horse, and obviously she runs her A race, she's going to win. But I think we can all agree that layoff horses, especially going a route of ground, can always be a bit vulnerable. And her trainer, Chad Brown, has even come out and said that she's obviously not going to be as cranked up as she'd have to be for a race like this. But still, she may just be able to beat them anyway.
Her B race may be able to beat everybody's A race in this spot. That's the big question mark. We'll find that out in race 8. We start with race 6, and that starts this late pick 4 sequence here. 6 furlongs on the turf. Right now it is Michelle Nevin runner Hannah Smile who is favored in that 7th race. We go to the main track sprinting. State Bred 25 claiming race, that 8th, our feature with the return. New Money Honey, and race 9 would close things out on the turf. New York Bred 40 maiden claiming race at 7 furlongs. Get signed up, started, and play all the races that we're showing you. You can get down in this pick 4 by signing up with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. New members get a $200 bonus by using the promo code LIVE when you bet $200 in your account. Again, use that promo code LIVE and go to nairabets.com to get signed up and started. Weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray at Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. Main track good, turf good for today's action as we take a look at the field. Current odds for race 6 here. 6 furlongs on the turf. New York Breds entry level allowance, and a little bit chilly on Awesome Roar, who was the 2-to-1 morning line favorite in here. That's the 11 for Jason Service. Blinkers do go on today, but right now the favorite, Hannah Smile. With more on this field, time for a Paddock report. I'm going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. This is brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Now standing Bayern for $25,000.
And Greg, I'm going to check in with some long shots in here, including the rail runner. That is number 1, Saratoga Treasure, a filly who once again comes back in off a little bit of a freshening. Now, she won at first asking, and I feel as though that possibly these Treasure Beaches are horses that are just going to be winners at 2. They're going to be the precocious types. But I can't help the fact that she's just really done well physically. She's really filled out that frame, yet she hasn't gotten much faster. I like her again here once again in the paddock. We'll see, getting back to the 6, how she does. I do prefer that over the 7 as she ran last time. So I'm just waiting for her to kind of put the physicality with what we see on the racetrack. Number 4 is trying the turf for the first time. That is Scorpion Bowl for Linda Rice. She tried to get her on it last time, but she broke her maiden anyway. She is a half to New York's Finest, who's a pretty accomplished turf sprinter, but he is a city zip. She's a ghost sapper, though, so that's a okay enough pedigree and influence, and I think she might take to it, though I have to say that number 5, Citizen Matza, is more of a convincing type. She's a half to Miss Matza Ball, and Proud Citizens handle the turf just fine. She has a very much of a turf hoof, slacker pasterns, and boy, does she look great in the paddock for Roy Larman. Greg?
First time on turf for the 5, 9-2 right now. Citizen Matza, daughter of Proud Citizen. Meanwhile, early on, especially in the wagering here, we thought Awesome Roar would get a lot more money. Going to probably wind up being the favorite here in the spot, but opened up at 4-1, was a little cool on the board. And first time getting back on the turf since returning. Now with Jason Service, looked like this race was wrapped up, but then gets caught late.
I thought she ran extraordinarily well in here, and even though, some might look at it and say, well, she was 1-2, she should have won. Well, two things happened. Number one, she was involved in a very fast pace that outside of her completely fell apart. But also, number two, the horse that beat her, Perjacious Dinah, has come back with two excellent efforts since then. So she may have just lost a horse with a long shot that day that turned out to be a very good horse. Perjacious Dinah, if Awesome Roar wasn't in this race, would be favored if she fit the condition.
Here's Saratoga Treasure to kick things off in our post-parade. Jose Lezcano for Jimmy Ryerson. Maggie was talking about this one.
She is making her second start as a 3-year-old, so she has a right to move forward, but she'd need to.
10-1 on Saratoga Treasure. That debut came first time out at Saratoga. The 2's Birthday Gift, trained by Patrick Kelly.
Yeah, this horse was 88-1 first time out, and this filly won on the turf. A shocker at Aqueduct on November 5th. Would have to maybe improve a little bit from that start. She hasn't been out since November.
3 horses scratch here is Scorpion Bowl. It's going to be first time on the turf for trainer Linda Rice.
Yeah, it makes it very interesting because Linda's so good at these turf sprint distances. Junior Alvarado in the irons.
Citizen Matza Herd, related to Miss Matza Ball, who's a 4-time winner on the turf.
Well, Miss Matza Ball, who ran the turf, had a bad turf sire, and she was good in the turf. This one's got an excellent turf sire. She's a major threat to move forward on the grass.
Amber Dancer, this will be her 5-year-old debut for trainer Bruce Levine.
They put the blinkers on this mare, and she has gotten better, but not in this condition, and she hasn't been seen since November.
Hannah's Smile was favored early on for Michelle Nevin.
She's also dangerous second off a layoff and cutting back a furlong. She'll be running late.
Yeah, beat by Mentality for Wesley Ward last time out. Talented turf sprinter. Forever Daisy, the 8. Big price for David Donk.
Yeah, maybe this horse at 41 you want to maybe throw in. David's horses have been running well of late, and Eric just had a winner there. It's tough to endorse this filly, but hot connections at 40-1.
Yeah, David Donk just won race 5 with a price with Dooley. Trouble for Skylar is the 9. Jose Ortiz, Steve Asmussen.
She appears overmatched.
Rock Avenue Road, the 10 for Rodrigo Ubillo.
This horse off the turf event showed a little speed and actually almost hit the front end and just absolutely stopped. I'm wondering if there's any heart in this mare actually to win.
And this one looks awfully tough with the equipment change and the meet the chase and service is having. Awesome Roar.
Yeah, she's a very dangerous horse in this race. So we'll see if she can clear the lead early. She's just the horse to beat, and she's now favored.
Shrink the 12. Abel Lezcano aboard for John Hurtler.
Well, I've seen worse 61 to 1 shots. This horse at least has a race on the turf that is not that bad compared to the fillies and mares in here.
Pick 4 pool, 159,000 and growing. What'd you come up with here?
Well, 4-7-11. The 7-11, the horse is the beat. I thought the 4 was the wild card horse because you don't know if she's going to really love the turf or not. In race number 7, I'm going to go deep in there. Thought it was very difficult. I like Bobby on Fleek in there a little bit. It's hard to, to see what's going to happen. Brimstone, Australinka, they're all dropping. Race 8, New Money Honey, obviously. I'm going to take a shot with Special Event as my second choice there to maybe upset. Then race number 9, the 5 and the 8 in there. I'm not giving you much. I do like Power Stroke, though, for Philip Serpy in the last.
And here's Awesome Roar being warmed up without the pony. Putting blinkers on, and look at what Jason Service has done at this meet, 48%.
Yeah, it's a little hard to believe and likely not to keep up over time. But, it's funny. People would always say Linda Rice was the queen of the turf sprints. Now, Linda just was able to find horses to win turf sprints. I would say he's the king of the turf sprints. He's as dangerous with turf sprinters as any trainer I've ever seen, and probably more dangerous than almost all of them.
Would you, that we showed that last race, too. Do you think there's any chance maybe that Awesome Roar, the horse who beat him, I should say, kind of ducked in, and it's almost like she didn't get a chance to see her?
No, I think she was tiring from a wicked pace, personally. I just think the other horse has just proven to be good. I think she ran terrific last time. Yeah. I think if it runs back to her last race, she's going to win here. Unless somebody runs exceptionally well, a first-time turfer.
This one certainly has room to move forward. Paul Hannah's Smile faced that Mentality for Wesley Ward last time out. And that was her first start back of her 4-year-old campaign.
It was a good effort. She made up some ground. Here's her issue. 9 out of 11, she broke 7th. 9 out of 10, she broke dead last. 8 out of 8, she broke dead last. She's broken dead last 4 out of 8 starts, so she needs to get out of the gate. when you watch her races, it's not like she gets completely left. She just breaks a little flat-footed. If she can get out of the gate a little bit better and get herself in better position, she's obviously a player in here.
I thought she ran very well last time. She made a premature middle move, moved wide. She lost to a good horse in mentality. I think she improves off her last race. She's probably the second likeliest winner.
Early on, the 11 Awesome War was a little chilly on the board, but now that money is coming in. 8-5 favorite. Blinkers on today. Rad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard. Let's go downstairs to Maggie for more.
And I do feel as though that Awesome Roar did face a decent horse nonetheless last time in Courageous Dinah, who's come back and run pretty well. As you actually see, looks as though they're moving the stalls out a bit, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap from the inside horse to the rail. I'm not really sure why they're doing that, to be honest. We'll see, unless maybe it's a little bit wetter down toward, or more moisture down towards the rail. But back to number 11, Awesome Roar in here. She is getting a vigorous warm-up beneath Irad Ortiz in here, indicating to me that he's going to try to use that early speed, in which she couldn't quite get to the lead, coming off a little bit of a layoff last time for Jason Service. But with those blinkers on and a 3/4 cup, a French cup as well, you'd have to think that the plan is go from the start. I don't necessarily trust her, though, here, guys. I mean, she just reacted badly to the whip, and she's kind of done it before in her previous efforts. So, I mean, I feel as though she's a horse you can't really touch that much. Moving on to number 2, that is Birthday Gift for Pat Kelly. Going to be a big price, lower profile connections, albeit, but the only time she's been on the turf was her first start, and it was a winning one. It was a slower race, but it was as a 2-year-old. So there's every reason to believe now coming back as a 3-year-old, she can improve. And it looks as though Pat Kelly has a really fit in here, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if she can get a piece of this at a big price here in today's 6th race. Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. We're just a minute to post as we take a look at the 5 in here, and this is first-time turfer. Actually debuted at Tampa on the main track and won first time out for Roy Lerman.
This is the surface you'd think she was meant for all along. She was in a race scheduled for turf last time that was rained off the grass. And what's interesting is that the other foals have handled the grass, and Miss Matzo Ball was 101 and was good. None of them had good turf sires. Proud Citizen, the sire of Citizen Matzo Ball, he's a very good turf sire.
He's a very good sneaky turf sire as he's gone along. And this horse has got a nice little bullet drill coming in, has shown tactical speed in both of the races, or at least some pace in both of the races, so you know this filly will be involved from the get-go. So I think it's a plus at 8-1. You know, the 9, Trouble for Skylar, what to do with that filly who failed October 18th in 2017 at 12-1, and she's getting bet here.
I'd like to book every cent on her.
Ooh.
Every pool.
Another one debuting on the turf, the 4, Scorpion Bowl.
Yeah.
Tried to get on the turf last time out, washed off, and then that equaled a win for this daughter of Go Sapper.
She's a half to New York's Finest, who is a City Zip, and City Zip's a half to Go Sapper, the sire of this one. And New York's Finest was 4 for 6, sprinting in the turf for Linda Rice.
Yeah, this is a dangerous horse. So this is the wild card horse in this race. You don't really know what you're going to get. Like I said, I'm surprised this horse is 12-1. I don't care what the workouts have been in the morning because this is a completely different surface. You don't know if she's going to like it or not, but I would tend to think she's going to like it.
Well, this is a tough race because there's a lot of ways to go in here, and you've got a big field, 12 horses to bet on. There's a 3-1 and 6-5. The rest of them are all going to be prices.
The issue you have with the 4 is you got a first-time turfer facing multiple winners, you know?
Yeah, well, if you think the 11 is beatable in here, then it is wide open. But right now, it's even money on Awesome Roar. Jason Service having an incredible meet. He has been almost impossible to beat. And now an equipment change on a horse who looked very good last time out, and you would think would move forward this afternoon. Just about set to load, 280,000 plus in this pick 4 pool. Final chance to punch a ticket in. Send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Larry Colmus, take it away.
Just a few more to go into the gate here. Here's the favorite Awesome Roar, still at even money. Moving into line along with Amber Dancer, and the last one up will be Shrink, who will take this far outside post at 99-1. And they're all in line. Breaking through the gate are 2 horses here, both Amber Dancer and Scorpion Bull, who is now unseated Junior Alvarado and is loose on the turf course. So we'll have a delay here.
Well, Scorpion Bowl, the loose horse right now. Also, Amber Dancer broke out of the gate, but Rajiv Mirage still aboard there. But Junior Alvarado unable to stay aboard. Scorpion Bowl, who we were just talking about, the horse that won on a race that was taken off the turf. And we know how great this starting gate crew is and the outrider out here. And look at this, catching up to Scorpion Bowl already.
I mean, like, listen, that is so much harder than you think if you've ever ridden a horse before, but that is some phenomenal work there to get the outrider. Now, the 6, Amber Dancer, broke through the gate first, it looked like, and then they both reacted. And you can see Rajiv Mirage is just sort of easing her easily down. Now, the utmost importance is the equine health of these two horses. They're going to take them back to the gate. Let's take back a look at it here and watch the middle horse. Actually, the 5 was the one that sort of set them all off, and the 5 stayed there. And that gate crew guy was able to hold on. Wow, he's got a grip of a hammer. And listen, the 4 got away, but a great job by the outrider. I would think the vet's going to take a look at all 3.
Yeah.
Well, the
6
4 ran off, right?
I would think the 6, there's a chance we could still see the 6 in the race. Very good chance the 4 is coming out.
But the other part of this is they're going to look at the 5 and make sure his head's okay, because sometimes they can bleed. They just want to make sure everything is okay. And it looks like the 6 is jogging back fine. But the jockeys, I don't know if they're going into the ambulance. One of them is.
Yeah, it's Junior Alvarado.
Yeah. The 4 is very likely to be scratched here, in which case I assume they'll take the horses out and have to reload because they'll move the 4's post in.
As you're looking at the gate there, the 6 is jogging back. Ooh, okay.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie for more on what's happening here.
Greg, thank you. As we just heard, we are going to see a scratch here of the 4 and 6 and the 5 in here. So this Citizen Matzo was kind of part of that, but she stayed at the gate. She broke through, but the assistant handler stayed with her, the assistant starter, I should say, and then the other 2 just running off, even with a rider and without a rider. So we're going to have a big kind of gap here in the field with the 4 Scorpion Bowl, Citizen Matzo, and Amber Dancer all coming out of here, Greg. I think the vets just erring on the side of caution, as well as the stewards here as far as the horse's welfare is concerned. Greg?
Well, unfortunate here. 4, 5, and 6 all coming out, but the best thing, obviously, safety and well-being of the horse. Got to protect him here, and we'll see them another afternoon. We saw Junior Alvarado go behind that ambulance, but he was walking under his own power.
Yeah, he was walking under his own power. You're going to see the gate crew now is going to readjust the post positions here. And 4, 5, and 6 right now, if you had them in your pick 5 or your pick 6s, you're right now going to be on the 11. And for the people that don't have the 11, the 7's going to play a lot bigger at 2-1 if that horse wins this race to go on in your pick 4s and your pick 5s and your pick 6s. Really turns it into a 2-horse race. It really does. I mean, I know we had this race 11-7, 7-11, but there was the 4, the 5, and 6. 4 and 5 are very interesting. Like
Maggie in the paddock, and it was a horse I thought was interesting. Thought the 1 looked a lot better than the last time we'd seen this horse. No? And I thought the 1 had some upside.
Okay. Yeah, the 1's not impossible.
Yeah. But 3-5 now on the 11. Wow, bearing a lot of weight.
There, though, a look at Saratoga Treasure. Won first time out at Saratoga, and then actually has faced some decent horses in the other 2 starts. The comeback race is a 3-year-old filly this year. I just felt like really wasn't persevered with a whole lot in that debut. Didn't run a ton along the rail, and I think Jose Let's kind of realized he didn't have a lot there and just kind of let it go. I think we're going to see better from this horse today. But he's going to have to step up, obviously.
I think the 8 and 10 are live long shots here, actually.
The problem with the 1 now, it actually helps the 1, is the 1 has had trouble breaking out of the gate and now gets the 1 hole. And she seems like she's acting fine, though, through all this, I guess, delay.
And there's a look at the 10. So 44-1, Andy, a horse that you think has a shot here. 1 for 16 lifetime. Faced Awesome Roar 2 starts back.
Yeah, I just think, you look at Rock Avenue Road, the horse was 4 wide the whole way, chasing the fast pace, and really didn't run that badly. I don't think that horse is completely impossible here at a huge price to get a piece.
If Awesome Roar doesn't run her race today. Yeah, certainly the 10 intriguing. I thought there was some. Unfortunately, you didn't know what was going to happen with. I thought even Amber Dancer was a big shot in here, but that horse comes out, was taking money.
The problem is like who goes with her now, because the 4 and 5 were probably the 2 horses, and they're both out now, and that's my worry. The 12, is there cheap speed there enough or good enough speed there to like put pressure on the 11? But there's really not much.
Job definitely got a little bit easier for the 11, and down to 3 to 5 now as a result. And again, if you're just tuning in, late scratch here in a race that kicks off our late pick 4, the 4 and the 6 breaking through the gate, 5 kind of throwing her head around at the gate, and as a result, all 3 taken out. So 4, 5, and 6, all late scratches here. And that is why we have this significant delay here to get things going, as they'll readjust all the numbers on the board. Had to back everybody out and catch up to a couple of the horses that got away. But with that now, the 11, Awesome Roar. Job looks like it got a little bit easier and has now become a 3 to 5 heavy favorite for a Jason Service barn that has done very little wrong at this meet.
Really has not done anything wrong. I mean, like when you're clipping at that kind of rate, I mean, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. Even now in basketball from the free throw line, he's above 50%. He's beating a couple guys in the NBA.
I think a lot of times, too, you see a horse, gave up a 2-length lead in the stretch, and you can look at that as kind of a negative. I didn't see that as a negative with this horse today.
No, I didn't, because, the horse needed the race and only had 1 start since 2016. So, she probably needed it. And, like Andy said, she was up on the fast pace. She got a little bit erratic when she got hit with the whip, and she just needed it.
And keep in mind, even though she hasn't run in over 2 months, I think she's been reined off the turf at least twice since that race. So it's not as though they haven't tried to get her into races.
So we're just about all reloaded here. Again, late scratch of the 4, 5, and 6. 3 to 5 favorite, Awesome Roar for Jason Service with Irad Ortiz. Let's try again. We send it upstairs again to the voice of New York Racing. Here's Larry Colmus.
And Awesome Roar is going back into the starting gate, now at odds of 3 to 5, and that will leave Shrink to complete the line once again here. With now 8 of them going to post. They're all in line. They're off. Rock Avenue Road stumbled at the start and is last early on. A good start for the favorite Awesome Roar, who goes out to the lead with Shrink on the outside. Hannah's Smile is 3 lengths behind, and Birthday Gift is on the inside. After that comes Trouble for Skylar. Forever Daisy, Rock Avenue Road had that early trouble, in Saratoga Treasure is trailing the field. Awesome Roar up top, Shrink pressing the pace on the outside, making her work a bit early on here through a first quarter mile in 22.13. Hannah's Smile is third, racing 3 lengths off the lead. Steadying up there's Birthday Gift. Got in a bit of traffic there, and Birthday Gift is having some trouble on the far turn. Forever Daisy and Trouble for Skylar go by her. And then comes Saratoga Treasure and Rock Avenue Road. Awesome Roar continues to be pushed along by this long shot Shrink as they come to the top of the stretch. Awesome Roar shakes away, leads by 1.5 lengths. Hannah's Smile coming on now in a second and off the rail and trying to run down this front runner with 1 furlong to run, but it is still Awesome Roar holding on to the lead. Hannah's Smile could get by, and on the outside Saratoga Treasure takes third. Awesome Roar drifting out and in front under the wire to Hannah's Smile. And then it was Saratoga Treasure, Forever Daisy fourth in 109.31.
Awesome Roar, odds on 3 to 5 favorite, gets the win. Irad Ortiz Jr., Jason Service, and Waterford Stable.
Well, she was able to get to the front, and I think potentially at least one of the speeds scratched. She was best. The best 2 horses ran 1-2 here, Paul.
Yeah, I thought it was confusing, Manny Franco taking the inside route, but it ended up working out for him, and 7 had every chance to go on by, and you can see right here the chilliness of Irad Ortiz Jr. He hadn't even asked yet, and then boom, as soon as he did, this filly by intimation just got it done, and Jason Service is unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, it became obvious she was probably going to win anyway, but this was a very different race when those horses scratched, particularly the 5, who could have been a speed to run with her early, Paul, you know?
3 to 5 favorite gets the job done. We'll be back with the prices. Awesome Roar picks up the 2nd win of her career. Shang, Shang, Shang. Wesley Ward getting it done again at Royal Ascot. We'll recap the biggest day of the meet next.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including 2017 Eclipse champion 3-year-old West Coast. A dominant winner of the Grade 1 Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, West Coast also placed in the Breeders' Cup Classic and was runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. In the sales ring, juveniles by Flatter brought up to $600,000, and his yearlings sold up to $460,000. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm. His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they leave the stalls. Pretty good line. Land forces out.
Watching Belmont Park live on MSG Plus. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. We are underway in the late pick 4, Awesome Roar. Had to wait a little while after some late scratches of the 4, 5, and 6 here in this 6th race, and winds up getting the win at a very short number here for Jason Service.
Yeah, congratulations to this New York bred by insemination at the Carson City Mare City Roar, or Waterford Stable, Irad Ortiz Jr. and just Jason Service. Together they're 35%. Jason Service is about 55% for the meet.
Incredible run. You can play along for free with all the races we're showing you each and every day with the Belmont Showdown. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. Enter your picks in the online contest and watch your name climb up the leaderboard as you compete for real prizes. The Showdown available every day of Belmont Park Live. We'll get to the next race coming up in just a little bit. We're going to look back, though, at what happened earlier today across the pond at the Royal Meeting. Today, the biggest day of the 5-day meet. Included the Gold Cup. And Wesley Ward went over there with so much hope, such a big contingent of horses. He was starting to second-guess himself a little bit after having not got the job done, and that all changed in the Norfolk Stakes as he wins this race for the 2nd time. Let's take a look at Shang. What a performance here, and Joel Rosario aboard.
Then for the Norfolk, 5 furlongs, and they leave the stalls. Pretty good line. Land forces out well in company with the Paddocks and the blue and white of Vintage Brute. But it's the American filly, Shang, who leads over on the far side with Rumble in the Jungle. They're pursued by Pocket Dynamo. The breakaway group up the middle are headed by Vintage Brute in company as well with Land Force. They're followed by Charming Kid, and completing that quartet is Glory Fighter. At the far side, towards the back of that far side group, we have the white sleeve jacket of Concheck and also Kinks. The Paddocks is now flat out at halfway. Shang, setting a brisk pace. Rumble in the Jungle away to the far side, then Pocket Dynamo. Kinks is asked to improve, then Concheck. Near side group currently are labouring, headed by Land Force, who is beginning to close and has broken that group apart. So out in front, Shang, being pursued by Pocket Dynamo. Land Force is back in 3rd, then Rumble in the Jungle. Shang, Pocket Dynamo is edging closer. Shang, hanging tough, joined on the line. Shang, far side, Pocket Dynamo near side. Land Force 3rd, Concheck 4th, Rumble in the Jungle.
Wesley Ward wins this race for the 2nd time with the only filly in the field. It's his 10th overall win at the Royal Meeting.
He's been absolutely brilliant the way he's been able to handle Ascot. You know what was interesting about that race, I thought? Other horses were kind of close to him early. Other trainers are figuring out they got to be aggressive in these races, and I think Wesley Ward probably has a lot to do with that. He's been an innovator.
Well, Wesley's horses usually open up a little bit more than this, right? This horse showed some grit, and Joel did such an unbelievable job of pointing this horse to the horse that he knew was the horse he had to beat, and wow, I mean, he's so strong late to get the job done.
Just hangs on. Wesley Ward giving praise to Joel Rosario after the win.
How good is it to be on the board with this filly here?
About this jockey, he's fabulous. He put his time and effort in. That's why he's here. He's won the Derbies, World Cups. He was here every day breezing my 2-year-olds all winter long. So
how satisfying is it for you, another winner here at Royal Ascot?
I'll tell you what, this is just the best. There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Double figures for you, Wesley. 10 on the board. Congratulations.
I'm excited.
I thought for a second I knew they're gonna get me, but you know she would respond to everything I asked to write, you know, to do, and then she was you know, very calm in the beginning. She broke well, and then you know I kind of have to use him a little bit to just get into his stride, get a little bit different for her, you know, here than what she been running America. So you know, but she really put a good offer.
Wesley Ward won this race back in 2013 with No Nay Never, and actually a horse who ran third in here, a son of No Nay Never, Land Force. But what a performance to hold off Pocket Dynamo.
Oh, that was just so exciting. I'm so happy for Joel Rosario to get that win. And Wesley ran a couple horses yesterday that were over their heads. This horse was the first horse he ran that could win, and he got the job done.
Yeah, and Joel rode the horse with so much confidence. And you got to love Wesley Ward giving a little props to Joel right off the bat and saying, hey, listen, this is a team effort. It's not all about me. And wow, he's really set a trend. Who thought anybody was going to go over to Royal Ascot and wins, let alone 10?
Groundbreaking what Wesley Ward has done there. 2 more days to go at the Royal Meeting, and Naira Bet's offering a huge 1,000,000-point hitter split bonus on the Ascot Pick 4 every day of the prestigious meet. It starts in race 3 tomorrow with a Commonwealth Cup. Visit NairaBets.com for details on how to get a share of this 1,000,000-point hit or split bonus. Oscar performance was sensational in the Grade 3 poker, so what is next for the Brian Lynch trainee? We will hear from his trainer and give you that story when we come back.
Make NairaBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NairaBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NairaBets, racing's best play.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Fang. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
You know, he's a high-profile horse. You try and do the best you can to have.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Greg Wolf, Paul Aduca, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale with you. Time for what's trending. And with the performance, an Oscar performance put forth in the Grade 3 Poker on Sunday, he is absolutely what is trending. Tied a world record on Sunday.
What a horse. I mean, he was just sensational.
He really was, and I mean, the kick that he showed, and he put away a pretty darn good field by a lot of lengths.
And this
pretty good, pretty
first
impressive.
start of his 4-year-old campaign, so you would think he's only going to get better. Here's Brian Lynch, his trainer, on what's next.
You know, he's a high-profile horse. You try and do the best you can to have him ready. He'd give us every indication that he was sitting on a good race, and but was he going to? You know, I think definitely the track played to his advantage. It was super fast, and but you know, he brought an A-game effort. He ran his best Ragusan number and his highest buyer's number. So, you know, it all come together for him. Just, you know, thrilled to have him on my team rather than be playing against him. I think probably the Arlington Million. Okay. You know, I'll discuss that with the Ammermans, but I think that's probably the right move for him to go there. For the long term, the Arlington Million is probably a better decision for his career as far as a stallion and everything too. So, but if, you know, we'll evaluate him after the Arlington Million onto which direction we go towards the Breeders' Cup.
Well, so brilliant at a mile, little interesting. He's now going to stretch him back out to 1.25 miles for the Arlington Million, but he also has heart to heart. Heart to heart, he's going to keep it 1 mile on the 4-star Dave. And Oscar Performance to the Million.
Surprised. You know, after the race, he was so dominant, and he just told you right there he ran his best numbers on whatever kind of handicapping tools that you use. But listen, he's going after the $1 million race because they want stud value for the horse.
Yeah, and it's also an interesting situation because he probably realizes his best chance to win a Breeders' Cup race, Breeders' Cup Mile.
Yeah.
But when you have heart to heart, you got the situation. They both probably doesn't want to run against each other in the 4-star Dave, and he'll run one. He can try the Arlington Million, and then you've got the Woodbine Mile or the Shadwell at Keeneland. And I would guess he'll run 1 and 1, one of those horses in one of those races, and one in the other. They're both grade 1s with big purses.
Yeah.
Nice to have options with two very talented runners, but what a lights-out performance from Oscar Performance on Sunday. Meanwhile, we saw this earlier on the card today. This is a half to Arrogate. We all remember that horse. And winning on the turf earlier today.
It's got to be a funny story.
Oh, sorry.
Sold at the Keeneland sale just 2 or 3 weeks after Arrogate's performance in the Travers, a filly, so she's a broodmare prospect, by Medaglia Doro. A half to Arrogate, she sold for only $300,000. She could have sold for $2 million, considering Arrogate's performance, and they're the only 2 foals in the dam, so she must be a little bit, there must be something. It's not bad, though.
Yeah, she got the job done today. They debuted her at Tampa, and then Castellano got aboard today. She didn't look like she was going to win the race, but she looks like she wants to run about 1.5 miles.
Well, she's already worth more than $300,000 because she's got the win. I mean, you could probably breed her now and sell her in foal and get a lot of money for her with that pedigree.
One for trainer Jonathan Thomas earlier today to get that maiden score race. 7-6 furlongs, New York bred, 25. Claiming race. We're going to check it now for a Paddock report with Maggie Wolfendale. It is brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
This New York bred 25 claimer littered with horses who are dropping in class. We'll take a look at one of those, and that is number 4, Bobby on Fleek in here for Rudy Rodriguez. Yes, he's not necessarily dropping in class per se, but he is back against New York breds. And one of the best times I've seen this horse, really. Obviously, there's some issues that have kept him away from the racetrack, but his energy is fantastic. He's really kind of filled out and just become just that much more of a robust animal, but also in the same respect as he was that kind of burly 2-year-old, he's got a little more athletic, a little longer, and kind of more, if you will, a little more elegant, and I use that term somewhat in relative terms. But I like what I'm seeing from him as he does come off a bit of a layoff as he is fit and ready to go. Moving on to number 5, that is Sal the Turtle for Steve Asmussen. Last time out, not the best performances, but it was a decent field. Obviously, Long Haul Bay included in there. Very talented runner for trainer Chad Brown. Whoa, okay, number 3, acting up pretty badly. That's 4 Pops, a long shot in here. But back to Sal the Turtle. I wasn't in love with him the last time I had seen him. He just didn't look as strong, and he didn't possess as much energy in the paddock as what he has displayed in the past. Again, granted, these are 2 different barns, and it is more typical of a Michelle Nevin horse to be a little more on their toes than a Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets runner. They school them a lot, and for them to even think about misbehaving or getting too much on their toes is really kind of out of the question. So Sal the Turtle, I think, looks better. Mentally, still on the quiet side. We'll see what he does, but obviously he's one that gets some class relief. Moving on to number 8, talking about a horse who it kind of does have the propensity to get a little wound up. Rectified last time, he wasn't, and I thought it was a good thing, but you also have to factor in the fact that he doesn't like a wet track. I think he's really kind of proven that to his connections, that wet track, no thank you. So obviously this one's a drying out one, but it's much better than what he had last time over that sloppy sealed surface. And once again, he is being very, very good in here. He's minding his P's and Q's, and I think for him, that's a good thing. We'll see. Another horse that needs to get back on track here, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. Approaching the 10-minute mark to post as we get a look again at Bobby on Fleek. Maggie liked the way that he looked. What happened? 1-2 last time out and just did not fire back at Aqueduct.
Yeah, listen, they had the horse in for 25. This is the lone horse that's not been in for the 25 state-bred condition. And, he won nicely. They put him in for 50, and he was just out of his league. Tribeca put him to sleep early on the lead, and he just maybe needs the lead to win.
Well, if he needs to lead to win, he has zero chance today. I don't think he needs to lead to win. I mean, there's
he
very fast
He
horses.
can rate in here a little bit, yeah.
He's a horse named for Bobby Frankel.
Yeah, of course.
Bred by one of his good friends. That Chad Brown isn't training anymore. An interesting point about him is he does run his best races fresh. And he's coming off a layoff, so maybe he'll run his best race fresh. But there's a reason you dump a horse into claiming races like this, and it's not a good one. So he's hard to trust, but he's still a horse that would easily win today.
Well, this was 2 starts back, and this was a win when he moved to the Rudy Rodriguez barn. Or condition claiming at Aqueduct on, as I mentioned, he put this field away by 4 3/4, but easy field. He's facing some tougher horses here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a question if he shows up and then he can win. But all 3 of his wins are fresh. One was his first start, and the other 2 were coming off layoffs. So coming off a layoff today, you would hope that he'd be able to run well. I wouldn't trust him in his next start. I don't trust him today, but I really wouldn't trust him the next time.
4-1. He is the co-favorite in this field. That shows you how difficult this race is coming up. The 5, Sal the Turtle, Rajiv Mirage will be aboard for Steve Asmussen. Horse actually put together back-to-back wins over the Inner Dirt. That was a while ago, though, but in terms of starts, not that long ago.
That horse did nothing last time out. I mean, now 3-1, 5-1 on the morning line, right on the morning line, but I just didn't see anything. Maybe he'll move forward this time.
Obviously, he was a very talented horse when he first started out, even though they ran him for a tag. He ran extremely well against good horses in pretty much all of his starts. And something went wrong, and then he's out for 11 months. They brought him back in an impossible spot. I mean, Long Haul Bay was second in stake in his next start on Preakness Day. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him over his last performance off a layoff. But now they're dropping him down, coming back 2 months later. There's clearly major issues with this horse. And I'll tell you something else. I don't like a barn switch away from Michelle Nevin. All due respect to the Steve Asmussen barn and his assistant Toby Sheets in New York. Michelle Nevin's one of the best trainers in New York, and I don't like horses switching out of her barn.
Topeboard showed me last time, because when I remember when this horse ran last time, I was, why is this horse 11-1? But I get that the race ended up being
a tough race.
But then the drop, like Andy says, off this layoff, that's a little bit of worry. You see these drops more at Saratoga, not now, before we're going there,
I use this horse in the Big Four because I know he can beat this
No,
field,
I did too. I used him too as well. I mean, he's talented enough to win the race. I just don't know. You got to hope he gets back to his old form.
Here's a look at Mike Lessie. He's going to hop aboard Pegasus Red, who's going to cut back in distance for AC Avila.
Good stats for AC Avila. Second off a claim. He's 6 for 28. The positive ROI, 3 for 14 on the dirt. I think this horse is a little bit interesting cutting back in distance, and he'll appreciate some pace up front of him, won't he?
Yeah, he should. He's an interesting horse. He doesn't like to win a ton. He hasn't won the last 2 years, but AC is a very sharp trainer.
He's 18-1. There's a look at Brimstone. He's coming in from Finger Lakes. He has speed. He has the rail. Jose Ortiz will be aboard for Jeremiah Engelhart. You see that 2 leaving? I thought the 2 was interesting. Ostrolenka, talk about facing tougher horses. If he can run even a little bit of what he used to have, he's been facing tons tougher than anybody in here.
His recent form's atrocious, though.
Bet 200, you'll get $200 in your account. Go to NyraBets.com. You got to use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime, and take advantage of that $200 new member sign-up bonus. But again, use that promo code LIVE to make sure that you cash in there. Post parade coming up here momentarily as we get a look at Rectify for Michelle Nevin.
How does he win? He's never been able to be competitive when he's forced to rate. He needs the lead to win. And with the presence of Brimstone on the inside and the 3-4 pops at the very least, very hard for him to outrun them if those horses break. He's dropping down. I get that. It's Michelle Nevin, but he's never been able to win rating. He's shown to need the lead, Paul.
Yeah, the other part is he's never hit the exacta at Belmont. I mean, that has to be a little bit of a concern, too. He's 0 for 7, not like 0 for 2 or 0 for 3, 0 for 7.
Doesn't help, I'll tell you that.
No, it doesn't help, yeah.
I'm willing to let him beat me. If he rates and wins this, if they're 1 and 3, both stumble out of the gate and he inherits the lead, then that's just bad luck if you bet against him. If he rates and he beats the field, I'm ready to lose.
Comes our post parade. We're going to start with Brimstone Speed from the rail for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
This is a very, very difficult spot for him. His win-2 back was walking on the front end. He's going to face some real pace pressure.
Ostralenka has got some back class for David Jacobson. David Cohen will be aboard.
Yeah, this New York bred by Eric Fine's done some good work, but I just don't know how much he's got left in the tank since they stuck the blinkers on.
4 pops, huge price. It was acting up at the Paddock a little bit, 13-1.
He drops down, and he's going to look to pop out of the gate and show a lot of speed as well. He's fast.
Bobby on fleek, Junior Alvarado, Rudy Rodriguez.
Yeah, if this horse runs back to his start 2 back, he's going to be very, very tough in here, but might have to pass horses today.
Sal the Turtle, Rajiv Mirage, Steve Asmussen.
If he can still run, he can easily win this race. We'll find out if he can.
10-1 on Bass River Road. I mean, a horse who's 15 for 35 lifetime.
Well, they claim this horse tried to put him on the turf. It got rained off. Now they drop him back for 25, so maybe a long shot look.
Here's Royal Ascot, trained by Tom Morley. He won the opener today.
Another who could show speed. He's in tough.
12-1 on the board. 8 is Rectify, again, trained by Michelle Nevin. Manny Franco aboard.
We talked about this son of More Than Ready. 0 for 7 here at Belmont is the one Achilles heel.
20-1 on Pegasus Red for AC Avila.
Dramatic overlay. One of the closers in this race, cutting back in distance. Big chance at a big price.
And global positioning on the outside. Abigail Adsit and Angel Arroyo team up.
You know, this horse likes to launch from way out of it and does have 2 wins of the 8 here at Belmont.
Race 7 coming up. We'll have it for you when we return. It is wide open. We'll have it for you live next.
And they're off in New York, the premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible, no doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live as we are approaching race number 7 here, joined by a special guest, Michael Dubb, owner of number 8 in here, Rectify. Mike, and quickly we'll touch on him coming off a somewhat lackluster performance, but over a sloppy track, back on what is a drying out track at least.
Yes, yeah, and Rectify has shown a lot in the morning, not as much in the afternoon, and we're hoping that the drop in class solves the riddle.
Mike, you've had an excellent Belmont Park spring-summer meet so far, way ahead in leaderboard standings as far as owners, and we head forward to Saratoga. Do you try to keep that momentum going? How difficult is that?
Well, it has been an unbelievable Belmont meet, and it's hard to believe I could be so fortunate to keep it going. I mean, we'll try, you know, you point horses to Saratoga, horses that like the turf course there, horses that like the sprint turf course, the 5.5 versus the 6 and 7 we run at here. And, you know, give it your best shot. Win, lose, or draw. If you're at Saratoga, you're a winner.
This is true. And speaking of horses pointing to Saratoga, a horse that won over Belmont Stakes weekend in my favorite New York bred, 4-star Crook, possibly the Diana?
Possibly the Diana. I think it would be appropriate being she's a New York bred. I'll leave that final call up to Chad, but she's something special. She just shows up every time. She loves her job. She doesn't know she's a New York bred. She doesn't know what condition she's running in. She doesn't know she has the biggest ears in the game. She just goes out there and runs.
She's one of my favorites, Mike. Looking forward to seeing her. Best of luck here.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
She's incredible. I mean, she's just a win machine. She beat the much more highly regarded Sister Charlie in that race. Here we go with race 7. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Colmus with the call.
Into the starting gate here. And they're all in line, ready for the start. They're off. A very awkward beginning there for 4 Pops, who broke well, but shuffled back right away. On the outside, it's Rectify, who goes up and after the early lead with Brimstone from the rail and Ostrolenka. These 3 speed off 4 lengths from Royal Asset, who's away running in 4th. After that, in 5th comes Sal the Turtle, who's already 7 lengths off the lead. Then Global Positioning on the outside. Break of another 4 back to Bobby on Fleek. 4 Pops is down on the inside. And then it's Pegasus Red and Bass River Road. 22.39. The opening quarter mile for Rectify, who is scampered away here. Leading it by 3 to Ostrolenka. It's a 4-length gap back to Brimstone. Global Positioning goes up 4 wide. Sal the Turtle is next. And then Royal Asset on the inside. As they make their way to the top of the stretch, Rectify has run a 45.83 half mile. Maintains the lead here over Ostrolenka, but he's cutting into it. It's down to a 2-length advantage with a furlong to run. Rectify holding on to this lead from Ostrolenka. Global Positioning is 3rd in the far outside, but it's Rectify who's still going strong. Rectify and Manny Franco coming down to the wire, a 2.5-length winner. Ostrolenka was 2nd, Global Positioning 3rd, Royal Asset 4th in 111.80.
Michael Dubb is very difficult to beat as an owner. He wins a ton of races, does it again here. Rectify, much the best in this spot.
Certainly helped the other speed. Didn't seem to go. Manny Franco, though, he wanted to make sure he got the lead, and when he did, the race was over.
They ran around 1-2. Him and Ostrolenka were 1-2 around the racetrack. The 3 got left in here for Pops, and Larry mentioned it right out of the get-go. And it may have changed the race, but Rectify gets to the front end. He's tough. They didn't run it that fast, the 111 and change, but not going to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when he gets in front, he's just a different horse.
Yeah.
It was just impossible to look at the past performances and say there was any chance he'd be in front here, but he got in front.
Wins at 2-1 as the post-time favorite. And another win for the leading owner here at the meet, Michael Dubb. Michelle Nevin, the winning trainer. Manny Franco on board for the winning ride. We're going to take a break. We will have the prices to set up our feature race. New Money Honey back in action next.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tapit has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, it is brought to you each and every day in part by champion sprinter Run Happy. Here he is on the farm at Claiborne in Paris, Kentucky. Undefeated in his career as a sprinter, and he let everybody know for the very first time we saw this horse how special he was. Culminated his championship season, setting a track record in the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Keeneland. Back here to live action, Rectify gets the job done in race 7. Manny Franco, Michelle Nevin, and owner Michael Dubb, who we heard from before the race. Your winning connections.
Yeah, this is the son of More Than Ready at the Stored Human mare, Avery Mary Moment, and he finally gets his first win over the Belmont Strip. Congratulations to Mr. Dubb. $6.40, and you're going to see an array of pick 3s because of all the scratches we had in the race before.
Rectify picks up the 7th win of his career. Ostralenka global positioning, run 2-3. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Thanks, Greg. And here with Michelle Nevin and Rectify. Michelle, I noticed that last time he was a lot more calm, which I thought was a good thing, but the sloppy track didn't help. Today, he put it all together.
Yeah, Manny gave him a great ride, got him out on top, and he just took control from there.
Michelle, you'll send out a nice horse in Wonderful Light tomorrow. How good is he? I mean, he's looking for his 3rd race in a row. What are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting another big effort from him. He's been training great. He's a beautiful horse to be around, so hopefully we get lucky.
All right, Michelle, best of luck. Congrats here, though.
Thank you.
Okay, Greg.
Well, Michelle Nevin does an outstanding job on this circuit. One of the more dangerous trainers here, certainly a nice job with Rectify to get this one back in the winner's circle. As we get set for our feature event, former Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf winner for the Phillies, New Money Honey. She is back. Here's that Grade 1 win, just the 3rd start of her career. She'd go on to win another Grade 1 in the Belmont Oaks. And this, the 4-year-old debut coming up for the former champ, for Chad Brown. We'll have that next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NairaBets.com.
It's 5 Edwards, my wife, myself, and our 3 children, Cassidy, Riley, and It's 5 Edwards, my wife, myself, and our 3 children, Cassidy, Riley, and Delaney. So my wife's cousin was getting married, and I kind of had to duck out, during the ceremony and get on the phone as Mike was going through the auction, and we ended up buying our first horse, Lucky Bug, and that was 2015. She said, don't buy a horse, and there was never the plan, and I swear my daughter will agree, we didn't have a plan to buy a horse, it just kind of fell in that way.
I thought it was extremely crazy. When he walked out the door that morning with my daughter, I said, don't you dare buy a horse. I just knew in the back of my mind when he grabbed my daughter, who has loved the horses since the time she was 3 years old, there was just something, I just knew something was going to happen, and this was going to be inexperience for us with the horses.
Dad, this is my chance to get a horse. You've got to go home with a horse today. Right. And I know she was telling him no, but I was like, Dad, you got to get this horse.
Yeah.
So kind of just went from there.
So yeah, we roll into kind of town for a family reunion. Yeah. And left with a $250,000 horse. Yeah.
Because he lives for that thrill.
Right.
You know, that excitement, that energy. And she begged us all through her young years to purchase a horse, which we got through all those years of raising her without purchasing any horses. And now everything has changed.
I think that it honestly stemmed because I was such a big horse lover and I wanted one my entire life, and now I have like 70 plus, so I'm like extremely happy. And I do try and take the time to like visit them all, and I always have the treats with me and I give them affection.
We've had a lot of luck early, right? So it doesn't hurt to make it exciting, make it fun. We won 3 Breeders' Cups together in the last, 2 years. Didn't know what the Breeders' Cup really was, going into it. I remember Mary Ryan, saying, Bob, this never happens. This never happens. There's a lot of numbers, as you know, in the sport. It's almost more overwhelming at some level. And you have, the analog and digital side. A lot of the breeders don't care about the numbers. They look at a horse and how it should match up, and they breed that way. And you guys like me who look at the numbers, and then I can kind of have a conference with Mike and defer to him ultimately on if this will work.
He has more energy than anyone I've ever met in my life before. He's got like that Midas touch, you know what I mean? He seems to never fail at anything.
I think a lot does have to do with luck, but we do have a lot of good people working with us, and I know my dad has spent like hours and hours and nights going through this and trying to be the best at the business, which he's got to be the best at everything he does. So I think it does take a lot of knowledge and skill to get where we are, but definitely luck too.
Why did this happen to us? And I can't answer that. We're blessed. I don't know. I can say we're just very fortunate. But I will say that there is a portion of luck involved, but Bob's business concept has always been like, hire the best and you'll get the best.
I bring the luck to the whole equation, right? So skill and smarts, I'm going to defer to Chad or Mike Ryan or Scott Pierce or any Rudy. It could be Brad Cox, whoever, Jimmy Toner, Dave, all the guys that are train my horses. Those guys are the other stuff. I'm just the luck portion of it.
It has been incredible, the run that E5 Racing, Bob Edwards and his family have had. You're not supposed to have had this much success this early in the game. New Money Honey wins a Breeders' Cup race, multiple Grade 1 winner. Rushing Fall wins a Breeders' Cup race. Good Magic, 2-year-old champion. It's been incredible.
It really has. I mean, he's a terrific guy, Bob, and it's great to see him having success. And it's great to see any owners. Anybody puts their money up in this game, you have to root for them. I mean, they support the game, and you want to see people do well.
Yeah, whether they're new or not. I hate when people get sour and go, oh, these people are just got in the game and they've gotten lucky. No, they haven't gotten lucky. Let me tell you something. You create your own luck, and that's the bottom line. You just don't pick out 3 horses out of the blue and they end up being all good.
What's wrong with getting lucky, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you better be lucky than good.
You gotta, if you own horses, just like if you bet horses, you're going to get unlucky quite often. So it's okay to get a little bit of luck.
Yep.
Well, they've been good for the game, and they've had a tremendous run, and we'll see if New Money Honey can be as good at 4 as she was at 2 and 3. This is the Belmont Oaks, her second Grade 1 win of her career.
She ran very well in here, and I know Sister Charlie, might have felt the effects of coming from overseas and having just run a couple weeks earlier in the French Oaks, but she made a horse like Sister Charlie. I mean, she's a major racehorse.
Uni, who's very good as well.
Yep.
We're going to see coming back at some point right now. Had to go to the shelf for a little bit, but tremendous horses, stablemates that she was able to beat on that occasion. As we look at Chad Brown off layoffs, turf routes over the last 5 years. Ho-hum, 33% for him.
And this is a perfect kind of stat, right? 4 to 8 months, so sort of that 6 months in the middle. And a $1.94 ROI for a trainer who's going to get over bet and wins with a third of them. Pretty remarkable.
Listen, she took a shot in the Alabama, or Chad did, and the connections did. It might have knocked her out a tiny bit. So you got to understand, too, she's never lost over this course, and that's why she is 1-5.
Only time coming off a layoff like this, however, she got beat. It was a much tougher field, though. It was a Grade 3 Appalachian in her 3-year-old return. We'll see what happens. Is she ready to go off the bench? New Money Honey back next.
Make NyraBet your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Eclipse champion Blaine notched over $4.3 million in earnings, including this historic victory over Zenyatta. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. Recent top runners include multiple graded stakes winner Fault and French Classic winner Senga. In the ring, his yearlings have sold up to $350,000. Among the top sires of his crop by lifetime graded stakes horses, his 2018 stud fee offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and Blaine, part of that outstanding stallion roster at Claiborne Farm. And what a moment he had, what a year he had, culminated in defeating the great Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. An incredible performance that afternoon. And daughter of Blaine, that was bred by Claiborne Farm. Arain going to try and spring the massive upset here against New Money Honey. Arain, the 5-year-old mare by Blaine out of a Touch Gold mare, trained by Michael Matz. And won a few starts back. That was at Delaware. That came last year. And it's Manny Franco who will be aboard Arain this afternoon. Time for a Paddock Report, brought to you by Maggie Wolfendale. It's sponsored by Hillendale Farm, now standing Bayern for $25,000.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll check in with the heavy favorite. That's number 2, New Money Honey, who will break from the inside post for Chad Brown. I've always liked her. I've always thought she was this big, strapping, good-looking filly. And she comes back here once again, as she typically is. She is sharp, she is forward, and kind of bouncing here. She has a pep in her step, and that's what I like to see. Because, though, she is that bigger type of filly, and as Greg, you pointed out last time she came off of a layoff, she did need a race. So sometimes these bigger types, they need to race into fitness. I'm not saying she definitely looks like she needs a race here, but just historically speaking, she may. But then again, this is a pretty easy spot for her and a pretty cushy spot for her to come back in. But trying to ruin her time back at the races, including number 4, Brooks House, for Steve Asmussen, coming off of 2 races where she did run over, well, a bog down at Pimlico, and a good turf course at Keeneland, but she ran well that day in winning. She is a bigger, scopier filly. It's the first time I'm laying eyes on her. She definitely has a little bit of sassiness to her, I would say. As they were trying to hit her with the hose, she was kind of rearing up and striking out at her connections, but I like that in a race mare, like one with a little fight in them, and otherwise she looks fantastic here in the flesh. Then one that's kind of an up-and-comer, if you will, is number 6 in here, Special Event. She has spent most of her career thus far racing on the main track, on the dirt, and rightfully so. The bottom side of the pedigree that Shug has had experience with, they're pretty much all dirt horses, but she is a daughter of Arch, and she took to it well there at Monmouth. She certainly gets a bit of an acid test here, but she looks like a turf horse. I mean, she really does have that proverbial turf hoof to her, and she's this big, strong filly. I mean, there's a lot of bone, a lot of density to her, and I like that with these racehorses. Now, she is one that does show some speed, but I will say she is fairly calm and quiet here in the paddock thus far. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Special Event, 6-1 on the board. Jose Lezcano will ride. And with gate to wire last time out, which was the first time on the turf, came at Laurel and led every step of the way.
Listen, she's a 3-time winner. You cannot take that away from her. I know 2 of the wins were at Tampa, 1 short, 1 long, but she didn't run awful at Gulfstream, and then she went on the turf, and this happened, and she's got the turf pedigree to get it done.
And she's sort of an unknown quantity here. She obviously would have to run better.
Yeah.
Forgetting about the 2. She'd have to run better to probably beat some others in here, but why couldn't she improve? And she could be the main speed in this race, depending on what Luis Saez does on Dynatail.
And on this turf course, it means even more, doesn't it?
Well, we did get the rain last night. I mean, they're listing it as good. I think it's really firm. It's just been rock hard. So I don't think I would want to judge this course the way I judged yesterday. But
I'm just saying the inner turf
course. The inner turf?
Not...
No. It's never a bad thing, right? Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. She's the wild card, right?
Let's go downstairs to Maggie, standing by with a special guest.
Yes, Greg, always nice to be standing next to a Hall of Famer, that's for sure. Shug McGahee here, and Shug, you're going to send out Special Event. Can't blame you for running her on the dirt for most of her career thus far, but what made you ultimately switch to the turf last time?
Well, when I ran her on the dirt at the Gulfstream, I thought she was a little bit, maybe didn't like it too much. She didn't like the dirt hitting her in the face, and so, you know, she was stable at Payson Park. We were able to work her on the turf up there, and we liked what we saw, so, you know, I thought, well, let's give her a chance. I mean, you know, being by Arch, big old filly like that, I thought maybe she might like it.
And she did. She ran very well at Monmouth last time out. Now, you mentioned Payson. She's been training also at Fair Hill. Is that a kind of by design? Is she a filly that likes a quieter setting?
Not really. I mean, you know, she's pretty quiet, can do whatever. It's just, you know, it's a kind of a good place for fillies. You know, she can go out in the paddocks and this and that. And then I've got, you know, there's 3 or 4 racetracks around there that I can sort of pick my spots with.
And last time she was on the front end. Do you think that's the same case from the outside here?
If she breaks good, I would like to see her there.
All right, Shug, best of luck here with Special Event.
All right, Maggie, thank you.
Guys?
There she is, 6-1. If she gets the lead, who knows? She could be dangerous, and she's got a crafty rider on board on the turf.
And I like that Shug said he'd like to see her, if she breaks well, go to the front. I like that. You know, I like a decisive and the right move.
Shug's pretty well dressed for Thursday.
He wanted to look good at our show.
Yeah, I know.
Right, he doesn't usually show up in overalls, Paul.
$200 sign-up bonus. Get started. Go to NyraBets.com. Use promo code LIVE to take advantage of that and bet all these great races we're showing you. Here she is, former Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner of the Belmont Oaks Invitational as well, 1-5 on New Money Honey.
Yeah, and listen, she's the one to beat. She's got $1.3 million in the bank, and she's going to make her 4-year-old debut today.
Arain, the daughter of Blame here from Michael Matz. Manny Franco rides.
I think if you go besides the favorite here, she's just one of the horses that has a chance.
Steve Asmussen trains Brooks House. It will be Jose Ortiz in the irons.
You know, she's a really honest mare. Pimlico, Keeneland, Sam Houston, Fairgrounds, Kentucky Town. She's run everywhere, and she runs pretty well.
11-1 on Dynatail. Luis Saez rides for Mike Deeney.
I think she showed in her last start that she still has some of that run in her that led to a good performance in a number of races last year. If she were mine, I'd be aggressive, and she's the one that could deny Special Event the lead.
Yeah, won the Penn Oaks every step of the way last year. But there's speed outside. We just heard from Shug McGahee, and he would like to see Special Event out in front. That was the case last time.
Yeah, and Lezcano can be dangerous on the front end because he's one of those riders that always has something left when it comes to the stretch. So if they let this filly by Arch alone, she could be very tough.
He was Voodoo Song's jockey for a long, long time. New Money Honey, trained by Chad Brown, one of the many stars he has in his incredible barn. Will she come back off the bench with a big effort here at 1-5 on the board? Her race when we return.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome in third. Shared Belief laboring Venture in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live and our feature race coming up. Former Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner New Money Honey making her return. And here's one of the handful trying to beat her in a return to the races. Dynatail, the daughter of Hightail from Mike Deeney.
This is a horse that, as a 3-year-old, kept some very good company. Obviously, wasn't up to a 1.25 miles against New Money Honey in the Belmont Oaks, but she beat a horse named Party Boat at Penn National. It was a very good horse for trainer Graham Motion. Now, her form sort of went south, but I thought last time out, she showed that she's returned to her decent form, and maybe if she gets her act back together, she could be okay in here.
Well, she's going to show speed. What a great story, huh? I mean, like, listen, her sire Hightail stands for 2,500. They bought her for $5,000. She's made $250,000 on the racetrack.
Did our friend Tom Amos train Hightail?
Might. I don't know. I have to look it up.
Just a look at Brooks House. Jose Ortiz, Steve Asmussen ran on the grade 3 Gallarette against Ultra Brat last time out. And before that, a win against the 2 other than condition at Keeneland.
She's in good form. Her last 3 races have been good. Over soft, good, firm ground. It really doesn't matter what she runs over, but she needs to step it up a little bit in here.
She does, but keep in mind, as you mentioned, soft turf last time. That wasn't soft. That was like a complete bog down on Preakness Day, and the only race they ran on the turf at Preakness Day. So you can excuse her performance last time out.
But again, we're talking about all these races and good performances from some of these fillies and mares, but you're talking about one of the classiest in her division, if not the classiest. 2-5 right now on New Money Honey, multiple grade 1 winner.
Well, let me say one thing. We sort of talked about this, you and I, Greg, a little bit earlier. When you're trying to beat a horse or theoretically take a chance to maybe use another horse in your multi-race bets, I think you have to handicap the race and say, what if I knew New Money Honey wasn't going to win today? Who would I take? And I think if you do that, it sort of makes the race a little clearer as to who your backups would be. Now, I don't know if it would, I could find anybody to beat her, but I think you're supposed to keep an open mind.
Yeah, I think so. If you look at her races, what I was noticing, the farther she went, the more speed she showed. When she was a 2-year-old, she relaxed a little bit more. As she got to be a 3-year-old, I think she just got stronger and she more on the bit a little bit more. I'm wondering now, Chad, took her back and started taking her to where she was training as a 2-year-old, and maybe she's going to sit a little bit more and make one run. 2-5, but she's playing like 1-20 in the exotics.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie for more.
It's interesting, Paul is saying that I don't foresee that happening. I think she's going to run much the same as she had during her 3-year-old campaign because she does get pretty sharp, you know, but then again, Javier Castellano opted to keep her with the pony, which will kind of settle a horse, maybe not get them as sharp to break as quickly as we've seen New Money Honey do. But at the bottom line is what I observed out on the racetrack is that she is moving so well. She framed herself up beautifully next to her lead pony and just all things you want to see coming back. So we'll see. I really can't fault her here whatsoever, guys. This is the first time in nearly 2 years that she's run outside and below graded stakes company. Greg?
Yeah, you look down those running lines, grade 1, grade 1, grade 1. She's a star. Can she become a superstar in 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She tailed off a little bit towards the end of her 3-year-old season, and you know, a race like this be a confidence booster. We'll see. I mean, she obviously has talent, but there's a lot of very good turf fillies and mares out there, and quite a few are in Chad Brown's barn.
Yeah, that's true. Probably your stablemate's the one she got to worry about the most.
They could run a tough race, about 8 of them from that barn.
New Money Honey, multiple grade 1 winner, making her 4-year-old return. She is 1-5 on the board. The 2 here with Javier Castellano for trainer Chad Brown. The comeback starts here. Let's go upstairs to the voice of New York Racing, Larry Colmus.
Ready for a start here. They're off. Very good beginning for New Money Honey from the inside. Dynatail's going to go out to lead them, though. It's going to be Dynatail to the front and open up here to lead by almost 2 lengths from Special Event as New Money Honey takes her spot in third and is taken off the rail, leaving that opening for a rain on the inside, while Brooks House goes 3 deep onto the backstretch. So Dynatail is the leader. Special Event is running in second. Javier Castellano keeps heavily favored New Money Honey outside of horses in the clear after a 24.45 quarter. A rain is down on the inside running along in fourth. Brooks House last of this quintet under Jose Ortiz, 4.5 lengths off of Dynatail. Dynatail by a tight length here to Special Event as the field continues to run up the backstretch. New Money Honey is outside of a rain. They're right together with 3 lengths to make up at this stage, and an unhurried Brooks House behind them. 48.66 was the half for Dynatail. Special Event gets a bit closer now. She's only a half length behind, and New Money Honey is just outside the top 2 now. She's only a length off the lead as they round the far turn. Then a rain on the inside and Brooks House. Special Event is taking the lead from Dynatail here. New Money Honey now given her cue by Javier Castellano. She's a length and a half behind Special Event as they come to the top of the stretch. 3/4, 112.35. Special Event straightens out in front. New Money Honey is now 2 lengths behind her. Dynatail is third on the inside. Special Event trying to fend off New Money Honey, but she's coming, and she's coming quickly, and New Money Honey is going to do it. New Money Honey comes back a winner over Special Event. Dynatail was third, and a rain was fourth in 141.22.
New Money Honey comeback as a 4-year-old and gets the job done.
Didn't look like she was going to get the job done.
No, it did not.
You backed her at 1-9. You had some ancient moments, but her class showed at the end. But a little love to Special Event, who didn't clear the lead easily on the front end and rated. It's an up-and-comer for Suge as well, but New Money Honey gets it done.
Yeah, you could tell for a split second you thought the 6 was going to win this race. Now the class and the size of the 2 that Maggie talked about, the stride just starts to lengthen a little bit more. But yeah, like Andy said, give credit to Special Event. She ran a great race off a little bit of a layoff, and she's going to be going places as well.
But not fully cranked. First start back and probably wants a little more ground. Not a bad performance, right?
And also, if you assume the 6 is pretty good, it was an even better performance. No, this is what you want to see. She's got to build on.
Told you Suge had a nice jacket on.
New Money Honey does not disappoint in her first start back of 2018. E5 Racing Thoroughbreds. Chad Brown and Javier Castellano. Your winning connections here is former Breeders' Cup champ notches another victory. Prices when we come back.
International Super Sire Warfront. Among his 34 stakes horses in 2017 were Grade 1 winners American Patriot, Avenge, Roly Poly, War Flag, and Europe's champion 2-year-old colt, U.S. Navy flag. Last year, Warfront was the nation's #1 sire in multiple categories. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Wild Applause leads the way by 3. Spit Curl now moves into second, and then Geraldine Store is third on the outside. Pretty Perfect, then If Winter Comes. Wild Applause leads.
Back on Belmont Park Live, New Money Honey making your 4-year-old return to the races off a 6-month layoff. And gets the job done in her return for trainer Chad Brown. Javier Castellano, his 3rd winner on the afternoon, teaming up with the E5 Racing Thoroughbreds.
Now 4 for 4 over the oval. And we're going to take a look at the stretch here. As the 6 starts to kick away a little bit for like about right here, you're thinking, uh-oh. But then when she levels out, Andy, right here, the stride just starts to take over.
Yeah, I tell you what, I said to you guys, I didn't think she was going to get up today. I really didn't. But you're right, she kicked in late.
Yeah.
But it's not like the 6 gave up, you know? It's not like she blew by her. They were running away from the others. A very nice performance by Special Event.
Yeah, she has a future on the turf. That was just her 2nd turf start of her career. But New Money Honey, the story, and she gets the job done. She responds with a victory, so now on to bigger targets, no doubt, for the multiple Grade 1 winner. And how about 3 today for Javier Castellano? Won 4 consecutive Eclipse Awards. That came to an end last year with Jose Ortiz taking over the mantle and his older brother on top of the standings here, Irad Ortiz. But Javier right in the mix, having an outstanding meet. Let's go downstairs to Maggie for more.
New Money Honey now 50% as far as wins are concerned, and aboard every single one of those. Javier Castellano. Javi, good to get New Money Honey back in the winner's circle.
Absolutely, Maggie. I like to see that filly chick coming back again, strong. New campaign this year in 2018. We're looking forward. I think Mr. Brown, he did a really good job bringing the horse from layoff 6 months ago and bringing it, did it, perform the way she did it. Very impressed.
And you gave us a couple anxious moments, to say the least, but did get up in the final strides. Is it a kind of a factor of how the turf might be playing, do you think?
I think so. It's a small field. The way he set up, you know, horse, he has more stride, jockey stride. And I think I tried to cover up a little bit and not be too far back and not be too close. I had to time it right today. And I think I don't want to early move. And I just finally got the last stride. That's what I'm looking for today.
Awesome job. Congratulations here with New Money Honey, Javi.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Greg.
It's a fine line there. I don't want to move too early, but could have gotten a little bit dangerous right there. Made it tight. Naira Bet's late pick 5 follow along, 36,000 plus in the pool. Got that big number Dooley in the first leg of the sequence. Horse that about 99.9% of people playing today singled in New Money Honey.
Yeah, the differences between the pick 4 and the pick 5 is going to be giant today. $16 to the 5 in the pick 4. But if you have the horse in the pick 5, it's like 400 to 500. It's crazy how much Dooley played. Way more than that, 15 to 1.
It is horse racing's best bet. And the only way to play it if you do not reside in the state of New York is with NairaBets.com. The Naira Bets late pick 5 has been outstanding time and time again. We're going to take a break. We got 22 minutes to post in a nightcap coming up. Times got pushed back a little bit with those 3 late scratches. Chad Brown, strength in numbers. Oh, his barn absolutely loaded. We'll talk about some good ones he has coming up at a stake this weekend, going at each other. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
International Super Sire Warfront. Among his 34 stakes horses in 2017 were Grade 1 winners American Patriot, Avenge, Roly Poly, War Flag, and Europe's champion 2-year-old colt, U.S. Navy Flag. Last year, Warfront was the nation's #1 sire in multiple categories. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Wild Applause leads the way by 3. Spit Curl now moves into second, then Geraldine Store is third on the outside. Pretty Perfect, then If Winter Comes. Wild Applause leads past the 8th pole by 4. Spit Curl second by a length, then Pretty Perfect is third. If Winter Comes on the hedge in 4th. They approach the wire. Wild Applause in front.
Wild Applause, one of the 1984 Diana Stakes, was the only 3-year-old in that field. That was her turf debut, going to win by 4 lengths in that performance.
I bet her. Great dam, glowing tribute. Loved that family. She was a Northern Dancer. Spit Curl, who she beat, a very good horse. Leroy Jolly and Peter Brandt, actually, she was some horse. I don't know if she ever ran again after that race.
Wild Applause coming up this weekend. And
field, too.
Yep. Chad Brown, we talked about strength and numbers. He's going to have 3 in here. We just saw E5 Thoroughbreds win with New Money Honey. They're going to have Punked in this field, but Chad Brown also with Bertata and Lady Subi. Lady Subi coming off back-to-back wins, including her turf debut sprinting last start on May the 5th at Belmont.
And they have to beat Marcassi on the outside with that Stormy, right?
I think they do. Lady Subi's very interesting because she surprised everybody winning last time out on the turf, and they can get dangerous. I hate throwing out undefeated horses. We just saw the 6 right there was undefeated, almost upset New Money Honey. This horse might outrun her odds.
She cost me a fortune last time. I'm still bitter. Thanks for bringing it up, Paul.
Bertata, meanwhile, also out of the Chad Brown barn, had the maiden breaker at Gulfstream, and he put her immediately off that performance into a grade 3.
She's been a bit of a disappointment because she was highly touted early in her races, but I wonder if getting back to a 1-turn 7-furlong race might help her out. That race, her second start at Belmont, was a very slow pace, and she was caught in traffic.
I don't know. It's really hard. She's eating up so much money at the window.
Yeah.
And E5 Thoroughbreds might have another nice one. 3-year-old filly by So You Think. And second time in the States. Got a win here at Belmont.
And the horse she beat, Ferdinanda, comes back in this race as well. I thought they both ran well. She could be an improving horse, and she had a bit of a trip in a very tough spot when she was down at Keeneland. I mean, the horse who beat her in her U.S. debut, that horse, Toinette, is the one who beat Rushing Fall down at Churchill in her next start.
And as you mentioned, got stormy, though, you believe, for Mark Cassidy, the one to beat in that race, coming off a win in the Penn Oaks last time out.
Yeah, the horse is in very good form. 6 starts, 2 wins, 2/3, and has tactical speeds.
She ran very well to beat The Way I Am, a very talented runner for Grant Motion. I imagine he's going to try to win the Belmont Oaks with her. And she did it the hard way on a pace that kind of collapsed. But she comes back just 3 weeks, Paul, from that race, and I wonder if she'll run as well coming back on short rest.
Well, you make a good point. It was June 2nd, and it was a good win and a grinded-out type of win. So maybe if she bounces or not, we don't know. Punked is the interesting filly in here because she got bet first time out, and then she was giant last time out, but she grinded it out. I'm wondering how maybe she hit the lead a little too early last time.
I thought she ran well to get it done. She also got buried in traffic in her
did.
U.S. debut.
Well, Chad Brown, we keep saying his name over and over again. He just dominates these races out here. But overseas, of course, Aidan O'Brien seemed to be saying his name time and time again. This was in the Hampton Court Hunting Horn. Ryan Moore got his 50th winner at Royal Ascot. Aidan O'Brien, his 63rd.
Wow, that's crazy.
Guy's amazing. I tell you something. This horse just crushed the field in this race. He was coming off of a 6th, I think in the French Derby, actually, in his prior start. But a little bit of class relief in the distance. He was dominant.
You won't get a lot of argument from a lot of guys that will say Ryan Moore might be the best in the world. He's pretty darn good.
And maybe the smartest jockey out there as well. And the Ribblesdale didn't take long for Aidan O'Brien to notch number 64 and Ryan Moore. How about number 51? Now Aidan O'Brien just 13 behind Sir Michael Stout all time at Royal Ascot.
And this one had been 4th in the Epsom Oaks behind actually a stablemate in there, Forever Together. And she had actually beaten Forever Together a little bit earlier. This was just like the last race, right? She crushed it here.
Magic Wand wins by 4 lengths, likely going to the Irish Oaks. And Aidan O'Brien going to try and keep Forever Together and Magic Wand away from each other, at least right now.
Can I complain about them naming a horse the same name as a champion race mare that ran 10 years ago here, Forever Together? I know they're allowed to. Yeah, they're allowed to. An Augustin stable horse won the Diana, I think, 2 years in a row. But, gee, she was a champion.
Yeah, I know.
Huge performance from Magic Wand. Then the Gold Cup. How about this? Stradivarius, son of 2009 Arc de Triomphe winner, See the Stars, winning for John Gosden, and Frankie Dettori, his 6th Gold Cup victory.
This was a heck of a stretch run. I mean, Greg and I were watching this earlier together. I think all 3 of the first 3 ran well in here.
No, they really did. And listen, the flying dismount from Frankie Dettori, always welcome at Royal Ascot, and he's done it a couple times, and that infectious smile, they love it over there when he wins races.
60th career win for the great Frankie Dettori at Royal Ascot. And he mentioned afterward, there's his signature move, mentioned, hey, Mike Smith, he's 47 years old. Said, Mike Smith's still going strong. I won a Triple Crown at 52. Why can't I ride into my 50s? And John Gosden heard that. He said, oh boy, Frankie Dettori in his 50s? Look out.
And no, and you know, it's pretty cool because, you know, these guys have ridden Breeders' Cups against each other, and they got respect as well. They've ridden on turf, and Mike and Frankie know each other, so obviously the respect going from Frankie to Mike, and Mike obviously respects Frankie too.
It's a great rider. I remember rode in Saratoga opening weekend a few years ago and actually had a win. It's kind of neat seeing him in Saratoga. I'd love for him to come back. Any of these riders to come back. They're just fabulous riders.
And you talk about guys too, I mean, who are an absolute superstar overseas. He's on the tabloids every single day.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't have as many Twitter followers as Paul LaDuca, though.
Oh, nice. Okay. Race 9 coming up. We have our nightcap still ahead. We're going to set the stage for it when we come back. It is pretty wide open. It's a good race to tackle and play and try and make some money on. You need an account to do that, though, so get signed up. Started with Naira Bets, $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NairaBets.com.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
We're back on Belmont Park Live. Thanks for joining us on MSG Plus. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling. We have the nightcap coming up. 7 furlongs on the turf. New York breds in a $40,000 maiden claiming event. Quite a few in this field dropping in class in for a tag for the first time. For more, it's time for a Paddock Report with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
Greg, you said it. There are several drop downs in here, and we'll check in with a handful of them, beginning with number 5, Power Stroke in here, who also turns back a little bit in distance. He's a horse that, well, seems to do his running, at least if he's going to show up at all, on the front end. It'll be interesting to see if he secures that lead here. He, at least in the paddock, is very sharp. I mean, he was pretty wound up before they put the tack on, but it's good, always good to see a horse kind of settle once they get everything on them, and he's done just that. He's also second off the layoff. I know I said that the jock's getting up. He's back on his toes again. But you have to think that he got a little bit out of his last race, and I think the turf is ultimately where he belongs. So I think Power Stroke makes sense here. Next, we'll move on to number 12, Rough Justice, coming off a little bit of a freshening here for trainer Tom Bush. And Rough Justice is a pretty tall, long, lanky customer. So at least he gets an extra furlong here. I still think he might want to go longer, but the blinkers on may help him a little bit. He does get a kind of large cheater blinker, if you will, and he does come back in here looking really fit. Still think maybe he might want to go a bit further than this, as we'll also take a look at another second-time starter. That is number 10, Conham in here. Didn't do much running in a maiden special weight over a good course last time. Drops in for the 40, gets Lasix here for trainer John Terranova. He is a horse that does only have one eye, which is always interesting to see. And I will say he does look a bit more fit having that race under his belt. He also looks fantastic. He's also a little more calm, focused. And while, yes, he might not be a win candidate, I think he will improve in this spot here and could run into those exotics. Greg?
Maggie, thanks for that. We have the post parade coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's check in how everyone's doing on the Belmont Showdown standings. You have that name, you got to be on top of the board, right?
Listen, we've
into
seen
Naira.
They're all tied.
We've seen it a couple times, but Oatmeal on the bottom has been on the board before, so I'm going to give it up.
They all have 93.40. I mean, have they hit every race together? It feels like
it's bizarre.
We have seen some short prices,
yeah,
though,
true.
for them so far.
Well, this is a true separator race.
It is. It is.
So we take a look here at the 8. This was the morning line favorite, Throw the Deuce. Tom Morley won the opener on the card.
Nice
and now
horse,
he's trying to package the card today, yeah.
Carrick, the first race. Tom did a nice job with him. He's a horse who can win here. He's dropping from a maiden special weight to a maiden claimer. In some ways, maybe the horse to beat, Paul. Close.
Yeah, you know, they're going to put the blinkers on that hopefully he'll show more speed on the drop and the blinkers. He's going to have to be a little bit closer. He's one of the 3 horses that will hit the pick 6.
And face 2 back, he faced Sparky, who we just saw run the other day.
Was not good.
No, but they're better horses than these. I'm trying to beat him, but he's very logical.
Here is the 2. Mr. Skittles going to have the rail and first-time gelding.
You know, yeah, first time gelding was 68-1 the last time he was on the turf course, and today you're getting 23-1.
Dustin's Comet, the 4-horse. Dylan Davis aboard, second time out, dropping class.
Another long shot. That was 58-1 first time out, ran 9th, 21-1 today.
Here's the 5, Power Stroke, 7-2 current favorite.
Cuts back in distance, drops from maiden special, maiden claimer, second off a layoff. Obviously can win.
6-horse Tammany Giant, best effort on the turf, came at 7 furlongs. Jose Lizcano aboard.
Yeah, got a good setup, 2 back where it ran into a pace. And last time was up on a quick pace, so maybe they'll take this horse back.
The Mason Factor, Manny Franco aboard for Jeremiah Englehart.
One turf race against much better, but he did absolutely no running.
And the horse we were just talking about, we will see next. There is Throw the Deuce for Tom Morley. Blinkers go on today.
Yeah, and you know, the other good thing for this gelding, he's running some big fields, and he's run well in bigger fields. So that's probably why he's I think, going to be your favorite by the time it's all said and done.
First time in for a tag. The 9 Raging Fire, David Cohen, John Kimmel team up.
My top choice in this race, a half to an extremely good turf horse, has a right to move up first time in the grass.
13-1 on the 10. This is just start number 2. Drops down in class for John Terranova. Conham.
Yeah, Ad Hoc Stable Incorporated breeder owner here. Good luck to him. This horse is 13-1. First time Lasix.
The 11 now a factor. Javier Castellano aboard for Mike Maker.
Gets a chance in a maiden special, maiden claiming race the first time in the grass off a layoff. Had good form, but his form dissipated last year.
And a contender and a nice price outside on Rough Justice. Kender Carmouche, blinkers on.
Really tough read because they only paid $30,000 for this gelding, and now they're going to drop him after one race for $40 and put blinkers on.
And -2, the 3. Last one we'll see here. Last time on the turf, ran second at this condition.
Yeah, he feels like he's probably a little overmatched, though he didn't run that badly, and he's listed as a first-time gelding. His one turf star, he didn't run that badly.
We're going to take a break. This race is wide open in the finale. Good one to take a shot at. 5 minutes to post on the turf here in this New York bred 40 maiden claiming group to close out our Thursday card. We'll be back.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and horse of the year Up With the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Runner-up in the Grade 1 Manhattan and Shadwell Turf Mile, Ironicus ran 7 triple-digit buyers, including this score in the Fort Marcy Stakes. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by distorted humor. Ironicus at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. And we've got one more race to come here. 3 minutes to post here in race number 9. We need to go out strong, guys. It's a difficult race to do it, though.
It is a difficult race.
It is a difficult race.
You guys sound defeated.
No. We're thinking. We're pondering.
Yes.
Well, the 8 Back down to 5-2 now. The morning line favorite at 5-2 as the favorite on the board. Has never been in for a maiden claiming tag before blinkers go on. Third off a layoff. There's a lot to like with him.
Yeah, I always feel like blinkers on, though, is somewhat of a desperation move. And obviously on the drop down, he could easily win this race. But he looks like he's run better than he has in his 2 races since coming off the layoff. And keep in mind, he was 3-1 last time, and he really didn't make much of a dent. Now, the competition is obviously easier today, which means he could win. But I don't want him at a short price.
His best race was probably first time out, right? Is that concerning?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at that in his first race, and it was. I think it definitely was his best race, and it's not like he's run that well since. I mean, he didn't run that badly, but turf racing is so confusing because getting beaten 5 lengths when you finish 5th, that's not really a good performance. It looks better on paper than it was.
No, I get it, but the one thing you have to agree with the 8. And when you look at the rest of this field, I get it. Some of them run once, some of them run twice. We don't know their running style. He's the only horse in this field, maybe the 6 a couple times, has passed a horse. Look at the rest of the runners. None of them have passed a horse.
Are you defending him because he has a baseball name? Throw the deuce?
Oh, I mean,
a little bit intrinsic sort of.
It's like the anti of
there
Major League. Give him the heater, Ricky. No, throw
There's
the
a
deuce.
lot of positives with him in this field. The 11 now a factor we're looking at right now. For more on this horse, let's go to Maggie.
Checking in with Now a Factor, just come back off of a layoff with Javier Castellano aboard, who is looking for his 4th win of the day and riding very confidently. This time for Mike Maker. This horse only has 1 race that makes him relatively competitive. I do understand that. It came here at Belmont, though, in a maiden special weight. And I will say that I've thought that this horse was always more of a turf horse. So, yes, connections have waited to come back to this surface. And now he's going to go the shortest that he's been. He's finally matured. Physically, he looks extremely fit here. I don't know, he's just a horse that's always kind of intrigued me, and the fact that he's only run 1 good race, and maybe today he'll run another good race. We'll see. As like I said, it's his first time in a maiden claimer on the turf. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. So 7-1 on the 11. Now a factor. Getting set to load.
I boxed 9, 11, 12 here. Bet the 9 to win, the 9 Raging Fire, and box 9, 11, 12. That's my play.
Paul,
Where's the 5? Why is the 5 not getting
I'd like
He
the
is. He's
cut
3-1.
back from the 5.
The 7 furlong cut back, and the 5 could definitely win here.
Right?
But I'll tell you something, this horse was on top of a very moderate pace that held together last time, albeit against better horses, and had no answer whatsoever. And for what it's worth, Phil Serpy, his trainer, does not have great numbers going maiden special weight to maiden claimer on
If you're
turf.
looking
It doesn't mean he
purely at value on the board with odd, wouldn't you say 12's maybe one of the nicer prices?
12's fair, second-time starter, 6-1. I mean, listen, I'm not going to be surprised if the 5 and 8 run 1-2 here. I just think they're a good bet against at short prices, but they're
And that price getting even shorter now on the 8. 9-5 on Throw the Deuce.
Pedigree in the 9, first-time turf.
Here we go. Good final one to close this out here. Wide open race. Let's go upstairs for the call to Larry Colmus.
1 left to load here. Rough Justice and Kendrick Carmouche making their way to the outside stall. And they're all in line. They're off. And it's Rough Justice on the far outside with a good beginning. Power Stroke comes on through to grab the lead, and right up there too is the Mason Factor and Raging Fire as well. And then it's Dustin's Comet on the inside. A length and a half back to Throw the Deuce, who sits back about 5 lengths off the lead. Rough Justice now in mid-pack with Tammany Giant to the inside. Then comes -2, Mr. Skittles, and now a Factor. 22.32 was the quarter racing for the far turn, and it is Power Stroke in front. On top by a length, the Mason Factor is second by 2. Raging Fire is third on the outside. Dustin's Comet rides the rail in 4th. And then it's Throw the Deuce, followed by Rough Justice on the outside. They're right together with 5 lengths to make up, clear of Tammany Giant. And then it's -2, followed by Conham. Now a Factor on the outside, and Mr. Skittles. Power Stroke continues to lead the way through a 45.4 half mile and opens up the lead by almost 4 at the top of the stretch. Power Stroke, the 1-2 catch here with a furlong to run, but the strides are shortening for Power Stroke. The Mason Factor is coming, and Throw the Deuce too. On the far outside, it is Tammany Giant. Here's Throw the Deuce down the middle of the course, up to grab the lead from the Mason Factor and Power Stroke. Throw the Deuce, the Mason Factor, Throw the Deuce won it. The Mason Factor was second, a photo between Power Stroke and Tammany Giant for third in 1:23.6.
Throw the Deuce. Trainer Tom Morley bookends the card on this Thursday afternoon.
Listen, Luis Saez went all in on Power Stroke, and I thought he made the right move. He just had nothing left at the end, and Throw the Deuce broke out of the gate okay, and they were able to wear down. He wore down 2 horses here. Rough Justice was very good in here, the 12. So was the 6 who was trying to make a move, but this is a good little race here.
I mean, with all due respect, the winner got a great ride here by Arad Ortiz. A nice job. Congratulations to Tom Morley on 2 wins today. She proved best, but how about the performance by the 7, the runner-up in this race? She was chasing the fast pace set by the number 5 horse who caved in the stretch, and she was game to the wire. It's not like she ever threw in the towel. So
yeah, sorry, I thought it was the 12. It was the 7, excuse me, the Mason Factor who ran Giant.
That's called creating value.
No, it is. It is. It's true. And listen, like I said, when you go back and you look at this race, the 8 horse on paper was the only horse that ever passed any horses. And what'd she do today, or what'd he do today? He passed horses to win the race.
I wonder who Maggie Wolfendale is going to corral down in the winner's circle. Let's go downstairs.
Yeah, getting your husband's always easy here in the winner's circle, as we do have Grace that joined us as well. And Tom, Throw the Deuce, it really just seemed a drop in class, did the trick.
Yeah, I was a little worried at the quarter pole. He kind of went out a little bit under Irad when he was between horses and looked a little laboured, but, you know, he switched leads, Irad picked him up, and he finished nicely. I think probably a combination of a little bit more ground, a little lesser company, and the first-time blinkers, and thank God he got the job done.
You had a nice horse in the first today with Carrick, 2 for 2 now.
Yeah, very progressive, slightly backward 3-year-old who's taken his time to get to the races. But, you know, he didn't really surprise me first time out, but he definitely moved up for running on the turf. But I've seen a huge amount of improvement from his first start to his second, physically and in his training in the mornings. He looks like a nice colt going places.
All right, well done. I think you should do the interviews. I mean, you have more to say than I do.
Talking to Grace then.
Hi, Gracie. All right, guys.
Next time, I want to hear Grace run the interview. I think we should work that in next time. Well done. What a day for Tom Morley. Wins the first, wins the nightcap, gets the job done. You want to join us tomorrow. Great show tomorrow. A horse that a lot of people are going to be familiar with. Returning to action. Stall Walk and Dude returns.
This is his first, I think, 6-month layoff of his entire career. He might have had one right at the beginning of his career, but it's been like 5 years. Amazing horse.
8 years old,
Yeah.
still going strong, and we'll see if he's ready off the bench.
You know, too, you got to give credit where credit is due. He's an 8-year-old that's been sprinting, which is hard to do, and he's kept his form.
Gone to Dubai.
Yeah, he's an old warrior. He's a fun horse to watch.
By the way, 3 for that young man right there, leading rider at the meet, Irad Ortiz Jr. 3 victories on the afternoon, so he's just keep rolling right along. So be sure and join us tomorrow. It's going to be fun to watch that horse in action. Look at this. Wesley Ward, Shang, keeping his streak going in the top hat and coattails. Across the pond at the Royal Meeting, his 10th overall win at Royal Ascot. In a race he won with No Nay Never back in 2013, Wesley Ward does it again. We'll see you tomorrow.